2 weeks ago, I presented to the committee some information about the transportation and airport projects for 2014 that the Public Works Department is doing and has budgeted. And today, I will finish off the Public Works presentation with the utilities projects. That's the water, the surface water, and the wastewater projects. Hopefully it got into your package. Maybe it's getting into your package right now.
I'm sorry, I left it on my desk. Thank
Just
you.
on time. So we have maps, one for each of the utilities. The first one should be the surface water map, and this will just give you kind of an idea of the location of these projects as I'm going through them, so maybe it'll be helpful. I didn't include maps on the PowerPoint presentation, or it would have gotten very long, so I've provided these maps instead. Okay. There we go.
My neighborhood.
Sometimes one button works better, sometimes the other one does. Okay, so we'll start off with the surface water utility, and that again is the first map. And I'm going to go through the projects and talk a little bit about what the projects are for and the budget and what the status of them are as far as how far progressed we are in getting those projects completed. The first one I'm showing is the Northeast 5th Place and Edmonds Avenue Northeast Stormwater System Improvement Project. This project replaces a storm system with 4,100 lineal feet of new pipeline and 64 new catch basins in the Highlands area. And the purpose for doing this project is there was local flooding in this area because of aging and undersized facilities. Construction is probably a little more than 85% complete with this project. It was at the 85% point a couple of weeks ago. And there's going to be street pavement overlay as part of our overlay program the summer of 2014, so this coming summer. So the project will be completed and the streets will be overlaid, so it'll all look better and brand new after we're done. Oh, I should say that the project has a budget of $1.2 million. Okay, next is our largest, go ahead.
Craig,
Sure.
so the fencing projects, are those facilities that we have taken over?
Absolutely.
And,
yes.
And we're upgrading the fencing and...
Yes, so we've got 8 of those that we're going to do, that we're proposing to do this summer, the first 8, and it's for safety and making sure that there's no unauthorized access into those facilities.
So we have a standard then that we've adopted?
Yes.
That we just, okay.
Our standard is 6-foot high fences. We would prefer to surround the whole lot, the whole drainage tract with it, but we like to, the best way to do this is to talk to the homeowners associations and the neighbors and sometimes pull the fences in closer to the pond if the homeowners association wants to use some of the other property and is willing to keep mowing it and maintaining it. So we try to make sure that we customize it to what they would like to see.
Very good. All right, thank you.
Sure. The next project is the Hardy Avenue South Underpass, Southwest 7th Street Storm System Improvement. This is the largest capital project on our 2014 roster. It's got a budget in this year, and I should also mention the budget numbers I'm talking about is the 2014 project. Some of these projects are multi-year projects, so their total budget will be bigger than that. So I'm just talking about the amount in 2014. The 2014 budget is $5.6 million. This project is 75% grant funded, and there will be 3,600 linear feet of 72-inch storm system pipe. That's the largest city pipe we have in the city. It's 6-foot internal diameter, and so it's a major interceptor. The design will be completed this month, May of 2014. Construction is slated to be complete in 2015.
Greg?
Yes.
On that particular project, that runs right by the, from the railroad underpass?
Yeah.
to Southwest 7th?
It goes, yeah, from the Hardy Railroad Underpass to the Southwest 7th, and it goes to the west to Natchez Avenue.
Okay.
So it carries the stormwater flow from a large part of that part of the city to the outfall near Natchez Avenue.
Okay, I guess my concern, I mean, we have to do it, and I understand that, because if you drive under the underpass at the right time, it's flooded. But you have 2 car dealers on Hardy that will be really impacted, and then as you go down Southwest 7th, there's a lot of businesses there that would be impacted. So I guess there's no guess to it. My concern is that there's a lot of pre-planning with the businesses in the area, and that they have good detours so the people can get in and out of the businesses. And I know you do a good job all the time at doing that, but I think this is one of those hypercritical ones.
Absolutely, it's right in that business district area.
We get sales tax off of every car sold.
Right. Right. And some of those businesses are probably a little weary of major construction projects, so we'll be talking to them and make sure we try to accommodate them to the level that we can. Because we'll be sensitive to the business impacts, because it is a big project. This is a big pipeline. Okay, the North 30th Street project and Burnett Avenue it's a storm system improvement with a 2014 budget of $300,000. The project will construct 1,600 lineal feet of new 12-inch pipe, and the design will be completed in fall of 2014. Construction will start late this year, late in 2014, and extend into 2015.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
So is that on 30th or Burnett?
Yeah, this one is,
Your help or no?
okay,
Please?
Elise knows.
you have the route there?
It's on Burnett between North 30th and North 31st.
Okay, there you go. On Burnett, between North 30th and North 31st. So that's where it is.
And right now, isn't there a ditch? Just an open ditch?
It's a new pipeline. Let me see.
I don't think so.
It's not on our little map.
Okay, I think it's a replacement system, but we'll get more information about it.
Thank you.
It's not very much money.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
Okay, the next 3 projects I'm going to talk about are part of the Highland Sunset development project that we're in. The library and all of the other development are part of that project as well. These are 3 surface water facility projects that are supporting that redevelopment project. The first one is Harrington Avenue Northeast Green Connection Project, Phase 1, which has a 2014 budget of $1.7 million, and that's 75% grant funded. So we have a lot of Department of Ecology stormwater grants that are really stretching our ability to do projects this year. The project installs bioretention treatment facilities and porous concrete sidewalks, the sidewalks that kind of allow the water to drip through and permeate the ground, along Harrington Avenue Northeast. And the design will be completed should be just about done this month, and construction completed October 2014, so that project will be done this summer. The Harrington Avenue Northeast Stormwater Retrofit Phase 2 it's a smaller, did you have a question, Terry?
No, I'm sorry, I was just looking at this 10th. I was using my hands to look at 10th to 16th and trying to.
Okay, where they are.
It was gonna be.
That one has a $120,000 budget, which is 100% grant funded, the Phase 2. And this project will design water quality treatment facilities along a section of Harrington Avenue further south, as shown on the map, with the design to be completed in December of 2014.
Greg, what kind of lifespan on the porous concrete sidewalks? I mean, how are they coming along? I know at one point they weren't as durable.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think that they've
that's only
improved, and they've got
years.
several different varieties you can choose from, some that have larger air pores and some that have smaller. And one of my concerns was maintaining them,
Right.
because sometimes you can get, kind of a wet surface and so forth. So there's a lot of literature that have been developed on that. We have one stretch of porous concrete sidewalk in the city now. It's along Lake Washington Boulevard near the May Creek Park that was
okay.
put up there. So that little stretch of sidewalk is our first porous concrete sidewalk. And so we're trying to learn from the experiences of other jurisdictions in terms of maintaining them. I think that they're at a point now where they hold up pretty well strength-wise.
Are you specifying a certain product? Or no?
We'll have product specs for it
Okay.
as we put the project out. And as I say, there's several different types, so we're going to be careful about what we use to make sure that, first of all, you don't want a lot of discolored sidewalk
Yeah.
because you've got, any growth going on, and you want to be able to maintain it. And so my biggest question about these sidewalks has been cleaning them, keeping them clean. But you're absolutely right. In the past, there has been problems with the strength and brittleness of porous sidewalks. I think they've surmounted most of those problems.
Yeah,
But we
it's
want to
been a
make
while.
sure that we can maintain them and keep them looking good.
Good, thank you.
The third project in that area is the Sunset Terrace Regional Stormwater Facility. This has a 2014 budget of $1.3 million. And this project is the rain garden and stormwater infiltration gallery that will be installed right in that new park, that small park, that's the 3-acre park that's going to be there, the Sunset Terrace Park. So this facility will actually be where the stormwater infiltrates into the ground. Oh. Lise is reminding me that this one has a 75% grant too.
Good.
And the design will be complete November 2014, and the construction completed in 2015. So we're trying to coordinate these projects with the other projects that are going on as well. They all support each other. The Maplewood Creek Stormwater Outfall Improvement Project has a 2014 budget of $190,000. This project will improve storm systems that discharge at the top of steep slopes. We had a presentation of this project in Utilities Committee, and what's happening back there on the Maplewood Creek is the creek that runs through the golf course eventually. And we have a lot of erosion that's happened because we have some discharge pipes at the top of the gorge that are carrying down materials and eroding the slope. So this project will consolidate 2 discharge points and run them down to the bottom of the gorge, so we'll stop having erosion. The erosion is really bad for water quality, but it also has been eating into the slope. So this is it's a small project, but it's an important one. Then Monroe Avenue Northeast, Northeast 2nd Street infiltration system. A lot of people are not aware that the portion of Monroe Avenue that takes you to the city maintenance shops is served by a stormwater system that is infiltrated into the ground. It doesn't flow off to other sources. So the stormwater, and it carries a lot of flow from other parts of the Highlands. Sometimes the stormwater system discharge infiltration gets overwhelmed by the amount of stormwater flowing into it. So we have an overflow pipe that goes into that pit, the Sagali pit, on the other side of the road. And this project will extend the temporary overflow easement into the Sagali pit. Eventually, we're going to have to improve the drainage system there. It's kind of in a temporary situation. It works, but it's not a permanent solution with the overflow. So the interim measure is to extend that easement and continue to use the pit to collect overflow when the infiltration system gets overwhelmed.
Hey, Greg,
Yes?
now that water going into that the Sigali pit there, that wouldn't work its way out so that it's coming off the cliffs there at the Maple Valley, on the Maple Valley Highway, or we're having the slides, or?
No, it would, when we do have the overflow, it usually makes some ponding way at the bottom of the pit, and it eventually infiltrates down.
Oh, okay.
Usually, our system will work, the infiltration system works, but occasionally, when you have the really intense storms, is when the overflow gets activated. And it stays at the bottom of the pit, and slowly the pit drains. It's it's a little bit of a distance between that pit and the Maple Valley highway slopes. So actually, all of our water that's draining does infiltrate into the ground, not just the water that's going into that pit. But it's a little bit removed from the slope area, so we don't think that that's a contributing factor.
Okay.
That's a $100,000 project, and the design work will begin in fall of 2014. Now we're back at the stormwater facility fencing project that we talked about a little bit before. There's several locations shown on your map where those first 8 fences are going to be. And we got quite a few ponds to put fences around. We're anticipating that in the course of doing this, there's going to be potentially some homeowners associations or some neighbors that aren't real happy with the idea of having the fences there because of aesthetic reasons. So we'll be working pretty closely with the neighborhoods as we move forward with this program. We have $190,000 in the budget to do this project this year, and the design phase for the 8 facilities will be completed in June, and the construction will be in July. Yes?
Through the design phase, as you're anticipating some homeowners associations, will you be working with the homeowners associations at that time?
Yes, we communicate with them and talk about locations, and we really want to make sure that this doesn't surprise anybody.
Right.
So that's an important feature in this.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, this is the Cedar River gravel removal project that most people refer to as the Lower Cedar River Maintenance Dredging Project. This is an area where we did our major river dredge, and we expected to have to be back in there doing maintenance dredging in 5 or 6 years or so. It's been 12 years, so it's really held up well, but we do cross-section surveys periodically, and it's gotten to the point where we have to get back in there and dredge some of the material that's settled in the river out of the river again. And so that is a project that has a 2014 budget of $2.4 million. The good news is that project is 100% funded by the King County Flood Control District. They are the ones that are paying for that project. It's in their capital program, so that's a big benefit to the city. Our ratepayers won't have to pay for that. And this is the lower 1.23 miles of the Cedar River. The preliminary design is completed on this project. Sediment sampling, which is part of the things we need to do for the permitting, will be done this summer. And then the construction of the dredging will start in the summer of 2015. So we're about a year away from actually doing the dredging.
How long will that take to dredge it? Because I know you have a window.
Yeah, I think that it's, do you know the exact length? I think it's about a 6-month project, but I'll find out. We'll get,
Really?
The window isn't 6 months.
No.
well, yeah.
It's summer into September at best.
Yeah, into September.
Yeah, I'll make sure that, I'll see if, what the
About 3
timeline.
months.
You think it's 3 months?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't
I'll
think it took that
confirm that.
long last time they dredged. I think we were not in the river more than...
6 weeks.
I didn't think more than a few months, and we dredged.
Whole window is,
Yeah.
I thought we had to extend it last time, though. So,
we probably did.
yeah, we'll get that information.
If I,
Does it go clear to the mouth? Clear
Yes,
to the lake?
it goes to the lake.
And so you'll be working with Boeing and the airport as they're working on their North Bridge project next summer at the
There'll be
same
some
time?
coordination work that'll be necessary. We won't be going out any further than the mouth. We won't be going out into the lake and doing any work out there. Our previous experience with dredging in the lake was somewhat counterproductive because it filled up very quickly again. So
If I could ask a question about the, with the permitting and everything, I mean, has this been as big a deal as it was the last time to get all the permits and to get this lined up?
We think it's going to be quite a bit easier. Last time, we almost got denied. It was very
Right.
close to not getting a permit. The agencies are very
So
aware
with
of
that
this.
bar, we're hoping
Yeah.
it'll be easier.
It's going to be easier. Well, that's what I recall, and I haven't heard any feedback on this, so it seemed like it was moving along.
We don't yet have the permit. The agencies are aware of it. They all recognize the necessity of doing it.
Okay.
There will certainly be mitigation. We hope that it comes out reasonably, but we don't think the permitting will be as stringent and as difficult as it was the first time through.
All right, good.
Okay, then the next project is the Cedar River 2005 levee recertification project. This is a project that we're kind of disappointed we have to do. Part of that lower 1.23 mile flood control project we did was obtained from the Army Corps of Engineers a certification for the levee. In other words, it was a Army Corps certified levee. FEMA recognized the levee, and all the floodplain maps that are made by FEMA recognize that it provides flood control for the region. In order to maintain that area as a to make sure that the levees are included in the FEMA updated flood control maps, we have to continue our certification of the levee. It's a paperwork approval from the Army Corps of Engineers and FEMA. Unfortunately, the Army Corps of Engineers told us that they're getting out of that business. They're no longer recertifying levees that they built, leaving it to the local agencies to have to do that. It's absolutely critical that we do it because we have to continue to have that area not mapped as floodplain because there's so much critical development there. And plus, the levees hold out the flood, so there's no reason for it to be mapped as floodplain. But we have to get the levee recertified. So that is, we have $350,000 in the budget to do that. It requires a geotechnical and review and a bunch of technical information to be submitted to the Army Corps of Engineers and also FEMA. We'll be advertising for a request for proposals for design consultant in the fall of 2014. FEMA and the Army Corps have given us somewhat of an extension to the deadline so that we have time to get this report to them. But we do need to proceed with it to keep that levee certification valid.
And how long will it be good for?
I believe, are they 5 years or are they 10
10
years?
years before. This is a new process, so we don't know, but before it was 10 years, so.
We'll check that out too, how
Okay.
long this will give us. The Lower Cedar River Habitat Restoration Assessment Project, we've been working with Community Services on this project. It's has a budget of $150,000, which is 100% grant funded, and this project will evaluate habitat needs in 4 stretches of the Cedar River. And as I said, we're working with Community Services to do this work. The project will be completed in June of this year. So that's all for the surface water. We'll move on to the wastewater. Okay, come on up.
Marcy, you had asked about the North 30th and 31st on Burnett. I just now recall what that project is. Actually, we have an existing storm system that goes in between houses on private property.
On Burnett?
And we're going, it's near Burnett. So we're going to relocate that line out in the right-of-way in between North 30th.
Ah.
So it's just something that we've had some issues with and we can't get in there to maintain it. So we're just going to eliminate that section and relocate it.
And are the neighbors aware of that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we're going to work on the wastewater utility. That's the green colored map that you have if you want to use that to follow along with the projects. The 2014 sanitary sewer rehabilitation replacement project will cover two major projects in 2014. The first one is the Highlands Neighborhood Sewer Rehabilitation Project. So there'll be places where aging sewer in the Highlands will be replaced. The budget for it is $1 million, and construction is anticipated to start in July of 2014 and be completed at the end of this year. The second major sewer rehabilitation project that we're doing is in the Northwest 7th Street and Taylor Avenue Northwest project. The 2014 budget for this project is $100,000, so it's a smaller project. Construction will start in 2014 and also will be completed by the end of 2014. And these are basically projects to replace aging infrastructure that's outlived its productive life and replace it with new infrastructure. The Central Renton Interceptor Reline Upsize Project has a 2014 budget of $550,000. This project is an extension off of North 4th Street, and it will upsize 400 lineal feet of 12-inch line that really needs to be larger than 12-inch, and reline a 1,000-foot section of the existing 24-inch interceptor so that we are sure that we're getting capacity out of this important line. The design is started on the project. Construction will begin again in July of 2014 and be completed in November of this year. Got a couple of lift stations that we're replacing that just had aging problems and had to be upgraded and replaced. The first is the Misty Cove Lift Station project, which we've been working on, as I think many of you are aware, up in the Ripley Lane area. And this project has a 2014 budget of $1.1 million. The project replaces an old lift station and relocates it to provide better access for the maintenance crews. The construction began in February of this year, and it's going to be complete in June. So we're getting to the finishing portions of this project. Then the airport lift station replacement project has a 2014 budget of $850,000. This project will replace the existing and aging sewer lift station that serves the southwest portion of the airport and the control tower. And we'll move this lift station outside of the airport fence so it'll be more accessible to the crews. Construction will begin in June of 2014 and be completed by December, the end of this year.
I have a question on the Misty Cove. Is that actually at Misty Cove?
It's pretty close to Misty Cove. I'm not sure if it's actually on the Misty Cove property.
Okay.
I can find that out. But it's right in that vicinity.
Okay.
Okay, the project to develop access roads to portions of our sewer in two locations, one at Valley Medical Center and one at Aberdeen Avenue Apartments. We have some sewers that are very hard for the crews to get to, and they have periodic clogs and grease buildup, so we really have to improve the access to the sewers in those two locations, Aberdeen Avenue Apartments and also Valley Medical Center. So this project will develop those access roads so our crews can get in there and work on them more quickly and readily. It's a project that has a 2014 budget of $289,000, and design will be completed in 2014, but the actual construction will be next year in 2015 for that project. And then the Renton Deep Hill manhole restoration is on Renton Hill, we have a manhole that is 60 feet deep. It's one of our deeper sewer lines. And in order to improve the safety and accessibility and bring it into current confined space standards, this project will update the manhole with a forced air ventilation system and access platforms for safety purposes. The design for the project's 90% complete, and construction will start in June of 2014 and be completed by October. And this is a $338,000 project.
Greg, whereabouts is that manhole?
That is,
Next to your house.
let's see if I have it on
You know,
here.
you can see my,
I can't tell from this.
It's on Renton Hill, but I'll give you the street location. I don't have the street location, so I'll give you that
okay.
later on. Lisa's making notes.
That's kind of the, yeah.
Okay, the South 132nd Street Sewer Main Extension has a 2014 budget of $470,000. This is way at the west end of the city. And the project will extend the sewer main in South 132nd Street to serve 7 lots that are currently on septic systems, and the septic systems are reaching the end of their usable lives. And it will also provide capacity for some development that's going to be happening in that area.
Greg,
Yes.
it says here, Special Assessment District requested. Does that mean that this will be a developer?
Yeah, we're gonna, we'll go through the council with the special assessment district process and establish a special assessment district so that every home that connects up to this sewer will pay their fair share of it, and the new development will too.
Okay.
So that way the utility will be paid back for the extending the line. And design is 95% complete, and the special assessment district process will go forward, and the construction will begin in June and be completed by November 2014. The Talbot Hill Sewer Replacement Project is needed because of the State Route 165 Direct Connector Project on Talbot Hill. That project that the WashDOT is doing is going to require that that sewer line be relocated, as well as relocation of a portion of the Olympic pipeline and other work and moving of the noise walls and so forth in that part of Talbot Hill. The project has a budget of $1.6 million. WashDOT will reimburse the city for our costs. So, and this will move the sewer to accommodate that project. The alternatives analysis for where to locate that sewer by the consultant will be completed by the end of this year. Design will be completed in 2015, and then construction will be done in 2016. Since we don't know when the state's going to fund that project, we probably have plenty of time,
So Greg,
unfortunately.
do we have, some kind of design for how that's all gonna fit in with the pipeline and everything, where all the changes are gonna be?
Yes, the state has some drawing mock-ups that they actually presented at a community meeting at Talbot Hill Elementary School a week or two ago.
Okay.
And they do have a pretty good idea of where the walls are going to be and where the pipelines are going to be relocated and how the streets are going to look. And so what I can do is, at least on an informational basis, it's
Yeah.
not all set in concrete yet, I can get a hold of those plans and provide those to the council if you'd like to see what
Yeah, I'd
that's
like to
looking like.
see, it's hard to fathom exactly
Yeah.
where they're going, and so, yeah, I'd be
Okay.
interested in seeing that.
Okay. You're taking a note, right? Yeah.
Keep
I have
writing
to
me.
ask her because that's a transportation project, so, but she's doing it.
Good job, Lise.
Doing it for the team.
Yeah.
And, okay, so I think I finished that one. Okay, the last wastewater project I'll talk to you about today, the last major one we're doing this year, is the Thunder Hills Interceptor Replacement Project. This project has a 2014 budget of $400,000. The project's needed to replace the aging Thunder Hills Interceptor. It's reaching the end of its productive life. There's an alternative analysis by the consultant that will be completed in December of this year, and the design will be completed by 2015, with construction again the year after that, 2016. So that one is a multi-year project, and we're just moving forward with the alternatives analysis right now.
So Greg, this is really just the design portion of this project?
It's actually even
Non-construction?
before the design portion. The alternative analysis is sort of like a planning effort.
Okay.
These are different approaches we can take, which seems to be the economically most viable, will cause the least environmental impacts. So what direction should we go and choose before we start the actual design process?
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Then last, but certainly not least, is the water system. And you have a map of the water system as well. It's the kind of, what color is that, Lee?
White.
It's not really gray, it's got a little bit of purplish in it. I know
Don't
that,
ask me.
okay, I'm sorry.
White and gray.
Okay, we'll call it gray for the purposes of this presentation. First, I'll go through the water main replacement rehabilitation project. That has a budget of, 2014 budget of $1.8 million. And one of the projects that's been funded is the Northeast 5th Place Edmond Avenue Northeast Water Main Project. I know that you're expecting of us, and this is a case where we're actually doing it, where we do several projects at the same time so that we don't tear the street up on multiple occasions. So this is in the same general location of that stormwater project that we're doing at Northeast 5th and Edmonds. The budget for the project is $330,000, and the construction of the water main portion of the project is over 90% complete at this time. Again, it's replacing old, aging infrastructure, 1,500 feet of old pipeline, cast iron line. The other major project that we're doing in the water main replacement, this one's a pretty big project. It's the Monterey Terrace water main project, and it's 4,000 feet of old cast iron water main, so it's basically the entire neighborhood, the entire Monterey Terrace neighborhood. The construction will start in May of 2014. We've had neighborhood outreach to the Monterey Terrace neighborhood, so we want to make sure they're very familiar, because there's only one ingress-egress point for that neighborhood. And we're going to be very sensitive to making sure that people can get in and out, and we don't have huge stretches torn up so that it's difficult to get around. And in the end, we're going to overlay the whole thing, so they'll have a like new road when we get done with the project. So it's a $1 million project, and should start construction by the end of this month potentially, and then finish it in October of this year, and then do the overlay. And then the Harrington Avenue Northeast project, replace water line in conjunction. This is another project that is associated with the Sunset redevelopment project. It's a $330,000 project, and it replaces aging water pipes with newer, higher volume water pipes, and is part of that redevelopment project. The design plans at this point are 90% complete, and the project budget's $330,000. So we should be starting, I don't have the dates that we're going to be doing the construction, but that should be this year, I think. You're all familiar with the automated meter reading system project. That's a total budget, not just this year, of $5 million. We're in the third year of replacing those meters. Right now, we've replaced well over 11,000 of the 17,000 meters, so we're getting some pretty good progress on that project. The system's detected over 900 potential water leaks and provides customer with real-time water consumption information. We've got an application where they can go to the city website and see what their water consumption is in real time on the city website. So a lot of people are using that, and this is really helping us find leaks in people's water systems as well. So it's proving to be even a more beneficial project than I had imagined it would be, and it's certainly bringing us up into the 21st century as far as collecting real-time water consumption information and making sure that our bills are accurate.
Hey, Greg,
Yes.
just a compliment. I had a call today And apparently, this gentleman had a water leak in his house on a valve, and he had a plumber out, and the plumber went out to shut the water meter off, and he found that there was a leak on the city's side of the meter, and they made a call, and he says the response from the water department was just very impressive, and they got there quickly, they took care of the problem, and I just want to pass that on.
Okay, thank you. I'll pass that along to the crew. Water leaks are responded to immediately. That's something that is very serious, and we have a quick response to that, so I'm glad that that was his experience. I'll pass that along to the crew. The 2014 portion of the budget is $1.4 million on this project. The water system telemetry improvements, we're replacing the telemetry system, which is the system that picks up the alarms and also conveys reservoir elevations and starts and stops pumps when we're not manning the system, which is after 4:30 every afternoon and on the weekends and on holidays. So a lot of the operation is automated through the telemetry system when we don't have anybody at the at work. It's an old telemetry system, and the manufacturer is no longer in business. It's kind of going out of business, so we have to replace the telemetry system with one that we can continue to be confident that we're going to get support on. So this process is 70% of the work has been completed. It has a budget this year of $170,000. Now, compounding this issue has been, and we've got a memo coming your way on this, we've run into some interference problems with our telemetry SCADA system, and we're having to move our frequency band to a different frequency so we don't get signal interruptions and false alarms and lose track of reservoir levels when the system's not manned. So that's something that's compounded on top of this updating that we're doing. So that's been something that has been caused quite a bit of difficulty in the last several weeks, and we've had to have staff man the system around the clock in some cases, because you never want to lose track of where your reservoirs are. In case you have a fire, you have to have a lot of storage capacity there. So we're getting to the other side of it. We've moved the water frequency over to the sewer frequency temporarily, and we're getting some powerful new radios that are going to enable us to use a different frequency temporarily, and we have an application into the FCC to make that temporary frequency band a permanent frequency band. So we're dealing with the situation, but it's been a little bit, it's disappointing that the FCC didn't give us notice that this was going to happen. We found out about it. We knew that the FCC was giving some of these bands to emergency operating groups, but they didn't tell us specifically that something that would encroach on our frequency was already licensed. We found out by getting interference. So, but we're working on the problem, and the solution will take care of it when we get that new frequency frequency assigned to us by the FCC. And they've been pretty sensitive to it. They know it's a real problem, so they're not causing any bureaucratic delays. They're trying to participate and help us with the problem at this point. And then the Maplewood water treatment plant equipment access and hydrogen sulfide gas mitigation. This is some putting in access platforms in the Maplewood water plant treatment center on the golf course. And it also has a ventilation system to help make sure that the hydrogen sulfide gas is produced by the chemical process is adequately vented from the building. This construction will be completed by 2014, and it's a $210,000 project to improve that system. Last but not least, we have the Highlands 435 Reservoir Replacement Pre-Design Study. This is a major project to add 2 new reservoirs in the Highlands to provide additional fire flow supply in addition to the 2 existing smaller reservoirs. And there will also be a new pump station. At this point, we have $400,000 in the 2014 budget to do kind of an alternatives analysis study, similar to the alternatives analysis study that I was talking about on the Thunder Creek sewer project. And this study will produce a master site plan for the replacement, and then the pre-design study will be completed by the end of this year, 2014. Design of the new facility, the new reservoirs and pump station will be completed in 2015, and then construction is anticipated to start in 2016, but be a 2-year project. We'll complete it in 2017. Major project, over $10 million, so we're working on it piece by piece. And that's the end. So if you have any further questions, we've noted down some of the questions that you have that we weren't able to answer, and we'll get back to you with those.
Thank you, Greg.
Okay, thank you.
Very thorough presentation, and it goes to show just how much money it keeps to keep all kinds of water flowing.
It does.
So with that, the committee of the whole is in recess, and we'll resume as a council at 7 o'clock.
So I asked some grown-ups around town, what was the healthy change that happened in your community?